Rockstar is obviously putting all their investments and their stake into IPs like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. And obviously, those two IPs have made Rockstar the most money. Rockstar has made millions off of both of those, especially since the release of GTA 5 back in 2013 and Red Dead Redemption 2 back in 2018. So Rockstar released two of their most profitable games during the teens decade. People are still they're waiting for the release of GTA 6. I'm actually getting sick of talking about it because it seems like Rockstar is always delaying the release date for that game, and the more they delay it, the less people care. But I don't know. I feel like if GTA 6 ends up, flopping or being a massive fail, then I feel like it's going to be one of those deals where they're going to lose millions of dollars and they're probably going to be forced to bring back one of their older IPs. And it makes me wonder, if Rockstar were to revive a particular IP, which one should they choose? Because you look at some of the more iconic IPs they had during the 2000s. You look at, Max Payne, Midnight Club, and Bully. Um, People have fond memories about all three of those IPs. I feel like the Bully game was kind of like a one hit wonder type of thing because it was popular during the mid 2000s, I believe. And even though it sold like over a mil, it wasn't something that necessarily blew up in terms of popularity. And one of the reasons why is because we never got a Bully 2. And there's been numerous reasons as to why it never happened. I read somewhere that the creative team was really small, and there was like a lot of projects that they were working on at the time. And I guess like at the end of the day, pretty much Rockstar decided to prioritize the Red Dead series along with GTA because it was drawing in more money, and it was something that was gaining more mainstream attention overall. And then you look at Midnight Club. Midnight Club was white hot back in the 2000s. A lot of people would go on record and say Midnight Club 3 was probably the best installment in the entire series. And one of the reasons why Midnight Club was so popular was because it came out during a time where the racing genre was white hot. You had so many games taken off, like or so many like franchises taken off, like Gran Turismo. You had the Forza series getting hot. You had games like Race Driver Grid. Um, you had you had Need for Speed, which was also really popular during that time period. You also had like Ridge Racer. I feel like Ridge Racer had reached the peak of its popularity during the 2000s decade. There was a lot of like, big like racing IPs that that got like a lot of mainstream attention, did well in terms of sales, that are memorable to this day. And I feel like as the teens decade progressed, I feel like the racing genre had kind of like fizzled out in terms of popularity. And the only thing people really talk about nowadays is Forza. I don't even hear that much about Gran Turismo anymore. And even when you do hear about Gran Turismo, it's like a shell of what it used to be, and the interest is just not there anymore. Um, you look at Max Payne. I think the Max Payne series got started in the early 2000s, and a lot of people loved Max Payne 1 and 2. We even got a movie back in 2008, but it's something that a lot of people really don't talk about. And the last Max Payne game that we got came out back in 2012, and even though it's a good game, it's pretty depressing because the main character, Max himself, he's going through a lot of past traumas. He looked old as hell. He was struggling with alcoholism and like painkiller addictions, and I don't know. It felt like throughout the game he was just feeling sorry for himself and all that other stuff, and it was really hard to watch and sad to see how far he had fallen since the very first game. So I don't know. I mean, even though Max Payne 3 was a good game, it didn't sell as much as Rockstar had hoped it would. And we haven't gotten a sequel since. But I don't know. Like if I had to choose between the three IPs that I just mentioned, um I mean, I'd love to see another like midnight club game. I feel like that would be something that a lot of people would like love to see, and I feel like it's something that's doable. Bully 2 just wasn't doable at the time, and I feel like it's one of those things where Rockstar is not willing to take a risk on that, even though they have a budget. And physically, I don't think they couldn't like make that happen because I heard one of the issues with a Bully 2 game was that there was bandwidth issues, and it was something that kind of like, prevented them from, moving on and with that whole like idea of creating a sequel and all that other stuff because you gotta remember, like during the late 2000s going into the early teens, um the landscape of gaming was changing. A lot of people was shifting more towards online gameplay and stuff like that. So video games became a little bit more complicated, and it got to a point where online multiplayer game modes, in any type of video game was something that was prioritized. You saw the rise of MMORPGs and stuff like that becoming more popular. So I don't know. I just feel like even if we got a Bully 2, it's something that would have got lost in the shuffle back in the day. But I feel like it's something that people would want to see nowadays just based off of nostalgia, like any of the IPs I just mentioned, whether it be Midnight Club, Max Payne, or Bully. But but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's something that's subjective. It's something that a lot of people have various opinions about. But if GTA 6 ends up, being a massive commercial success, then Rockstar wouldn't have to revive any of those games. And we do know we're going to get a Red Dead Redemption 3 later down the line. So, like, as long as these two IPs are profitable, I don't think Rockstar will have to go back and revive anything, but they do have the budget to, revive the IPs that I just mentioned. But obviously, they have no interest in doing so, despite popular demand and all that, because nowadays, corporations care more about profit than they do about fan service, and that's something that sucks for just about everyone, myself included. But I don't know. I just, never say never. I mean, we might, get another entry with any of those IPs I mentioned earlier. But but yeah, the decision's not mine, the decision's not yours. It's up to Rockstar Games at the end of the day.